a man who took $7 to a portfolio of over $250 million in apartment investing. He mentors and coaches to make apartment syndication easy. Each week, he will share his expertise, tricks, trades, and golden nuggets how to master the art of syndication to bring cash flow streams to your business, to change your life for the better. Here is Mr.
Syndication Made Easy with Vinney Chopra, also known as Mr. Smiles. Mr. Smiles is one of the top syndication investors in the apartment syndication arena in the U.S. to date. He came to this country with only $7 in his pocket, and he is now acquires and manages, I think, over 300
over 300 million. Yeah.
Over 300 million. It's insane. In syndications to date. He also, I don't know if you've ever heard his story. He's been probably 80 plus podcasts, not including his own two. He's also, if you haven't checked it out yet, go get it. He is a #1 international best-selling author with his book, Syndication Made Easy. But this podcast here is pretty unique. This time, you've got me, Alicia DeBrell, co-hosting with Mr. Smiles, and we also have a special guest today. Today's guest is TJ Hines, and TJ Hines, he has been investing in the Florida real estate market since around July 2011, so he's definitely been in the game for a minute. He started out wholesaling, single-family homes, really quickly moved on to rehabbing and flipping homes, and that, he's an incredible father. He's a husband, a loving husband. But the most unique thing I like the most, besides the whole, real estate guru thing, is that he's also got a nickname. So you've got me, Alicia DeBrell. You've got, Mr. Smiles over there, which you always see us together. And then now you've got Mr. Flipperhouse. So, gentlemen.
Yes. TJ, welcome to the show. You are the first guest on Vinney and Alicia's show. Actually, and we are very proud to have you on board.
That's pretty awesome. Very honored and pleasure with the opportunity to be the first guest on your show. I guess that's groundbreaking in a sense. And so I'm really looking forward to having some fun here with you guys and seeing how much what value I can bring to your listeners here, Vinney.
Thank you, TJ. It was such a pleasure when we met just last week right there in Orlando, and thanks so much for coming all the way from Tampa. Your story is incredible, and I'm so excited that you have taken that path to move to multifamily with a vengeance, and you're closing on the first deal. So I wanted to kind of bring you on and kind of talk about, why the change and why you think this is the right time to get into the moving train. I call it moving train of multifamily.
Absolutely. So I guess maybe I'll just kind of start back when I started in real estate. Just like many others who get their start in real estate, they usually start out wholesaling properties. It's a very low barrier to entry, or what we may call it low-hanging fruit, because it doesn't take much to get started. As long as you have some will, drive, hustle, and determination, you can get out there and make these things happen. Well, I ended up doing that for the first 3.5, maybe four or so years when I was in business. Mm-hmm. And I graduated into fix and flipping. But let me tell you what occurred to me to allow myself to get into fixing and flipping is simply because when I was in wholesaling, and although it makes for good cash flow, what tends to happen is you have a lot of cash that comes in and you have a lot of cash that goes right back out. So if you're an investor that's, online, or you're always on Facebook, different social media platforms, and you have different investor friends, more than likely you have some investor friends that are wholesalers, and you may see them from time to time, posting $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 checks. And, the end event always looks good, but what no one ever talks about is, where that money actually goes. Yeah. And so let's just take, for instance, here, you make a $10,000 check, in wholesaling. Well, essentially, you're not making $10,000 there, right? What you have to take into realization is that you have to pay taxes on the money, and you're going to be taxed at its highest percentage, usually within 33% of that tax bracket. So you got $10,000 check there, and you have to immediately put $3,000 to the side to pay good old Uncle Sam.
Yeah.
Not to mention, in order for you to make that $10,000 check, you had to spend money in marketing, right? Yep. So, how much did it take you to actually spend in marketing to make that $10,000 check? Was it $2,000? Was it $3,000? Was it $4,000? Well, let's just go with the median here. Let's just say we spent $3,000 in marketing costs to make that $10,000 check. Well, now you're actually down to $4,000, right?
Yep.
Right. So we went from $10,000, $3,000 had to be paid to taxes that you must put aside right away, and you got another $3,000 that you have to take into account that you spent in marketing costs to make the $10,000. Right. So now we're down to only $4,000. Well, guess what? If we want to keep the deal flow coming through our pipeline, what must we do? We must reinvest back into
marketing. Yeah.
Right? And so now how much money is it going to take you to keep the phone ringing with potential leads that you can convert on? You have to now put maybe another 20% of that back into your business, right? To start marketing for leads, right? And so let's just say that now we're down to...
You make it sound so painful. I went from 10, I went to here, I went to here, I went to here. Like, what's left?
What's left, right? And so essentially, I termed it blind fool's money, right?
Oh my gosh.
It can blind you.
It's a t-shirt.
Right. It can blind you because you see, oh man, you know what? I made the 10,000, but you got to take into account everything that led up to you making this.
Yes.
Right. And now you take 1,500 or so out of the 4,000 that you have left to put back into marketing to keep the phone ringing. Sure. What are you left with? Just a couple $1,000 to do what? Pay your bills.
Oh my gosh. Right? Wow.
So now you're back down to $0 again. So once I figured out the whole game of wholesale, I was like, you know what? Maybe I should get my hands into flipping. I call it fix and flip bug, right?
Yeah.
And so as I graduated into fixing and flipping, of course, I had quite a few seminars, early in the game. That was a learning curve that I had to get over. And the biggest thing is making sure that you have the right type of contractors that can help you succeed in your journey.
Yes.
That is the number one key to fixing and flipping, is having a good team that can produce quality work on a budget. That's the key, right? On a budget, right? Yep. And so over the past 4 or so years, we may have flipped, 80 plus properties and retailed them over the past 4.5 years. And although the income seems good, there is a lot of management involved, day-to-day management, and it's intensive too as well, right? Yeah. And so essentially what you're doing, going from wholesaling to fixing and flipping, you're still working a job. You're still heavily involved in the day-to-day operations of the business. Okay? Now, go ahead, Vinney.
No, so true. What you're just saying is amazing.
I'm on the same page. I used to be a wholesaler in flip houses, so I'm right there with you.
I think we are talking to so many people, really, in USA and around the world. TJ, I'm so glad that you went through the whole thing, because that is something one needs to really take a look at, wherever business they're in. If they're going to have that lifetime cash flow coming to them, or streams of cash flow incomes, we call it. It's just a job, like you just said, wholesaling was a job, and how you break it down, amazing. And then flipping also, it's again a longer job actually, because the flips take longer, and the time is the factor, money is the factor, contractors are a big factor. that you can control some things, you cannot control other things, right?
Right. And it makes for, to be honestly, the most riskiest real estate strategy that one can deploy.
Yeah.
And just to kind of get into that, let me give you some examples where we all know where the housing market is now.
Yeah.
So housing prices have come down, have collapsed.
Yeah.
Right? And so in rehab and fixing and flipping, you have what we call a proposed budget.
Yes.
Every experienced rehabber will tell you that 9 times out of 10, they're not staying on budget.
Yeah.
They're usually going over budget, right?
Yep.
So we have those two factors that are involved, right? The housing prices coming down, and essentially 90 to 95% of the time, you're going to go over budget. Okay. Now you take into account that the cost of materials have gone up at least 20% from the same time last year. Okay? Followed by the cost of labor is going to go up, right?
Yeah.
So if you take into account the cost of materials have gone up, the cost of labor has gone up, housing prices have gone down, and you are going to go over budget in these projects, right?
Yeah.
Now, this is the ultimate factor, right? After you spent all this time, energy, passion, putting, the sweat equity into the property, guess what? Ultimately, your fate doesn't lie in your hands. It lies in the appraiser's hands.
Yes.
Right? So you may have a good idea based on comparable sales, which you may be able to retail this property for. And that's usually gathered from the data that we get from the MLS. Yeah. But what if you get an appraiser that doesn't know too much about the market, that where your property is actually located?
You're killed. You're totally killed. Oh my gosh.
Right? And so it makes for a risky strategy, right? And your fate ultimately doesn't lie in your own hands, opposed to multifamily, where you have total control over the value of the asset.
Surely.
So actually, can I interrupt you guys? Vinney, can you go in? He just explained, and I know a lot of the audience right now are wholesalers and flippers, and so they understand, TJ's input on the struggles, but explain, how do they have complete control over the asset? How is it different?
Oh, no, not in the flipping and the wholesaling.
No, I'm saying in multifamily.
Oh, multifamily. Yeah, that's where TJ is going into. And the good part is, that exciting part, which I really was impressed, TJ, was that you made that shift. And you're so happy, and the things are working out. So please tell us about that journey.
Yeah, and I tell you what, and so, as I really started to kind of look back on, the companies and the business models that I've been able to create and implement, I looked at 10 years down the road, like, where do I really want to be with my life? 40 years old now, right? We can't continue to, be on this same path of, getting up and making sure that if we get up, we have to make that machine run. How can we take less of our effort, right? And take the experience and knowledge that we gained over the years and use what we've gained over the years into multifamily. Yeah. To where now you can actually use the economies of scale. Yeah. And the great thing about it, this is a team sport, right? Yep. You can bring along people in your organization or your external infrastructure who may possess skills and the experience that you don't have, right? Yep. And so that is one of the routes that I took when I first started educating myself about multifamily. Is I knew that I was going to have people come and support me along the way in my journey, and people who are more experienced than me. And so it really started out me just seeking property managers who were experienced and can be compatible with the type of business model we have, which is value add. And so therefore, my number one goal was to go out and find that property management company who had extensive years of repositioning experience. Class C and Class B multifamily properties, and it just kind of started from there. And then once I figured out that I actually had all control over the value, simply because the value lies in the net operating income, and us as the syndicator, the sponsor, whatnot, we get to control, or find strategic ways how we can force that appreciation, whether it's through, increasing the rents, whether it's, repurposing tennis courts into a playground that will make it more suitable to the demographic that's actually in your community. Maybe come in and install a dog park that's in high demand for that community. We can charge premiums and rent just for doing that. And so I thought that, I'm not being compared, to the property that's across the street. So true. What that property sold for, which essentially in single family, you're going to be compared to the next man. And essentially, it doesn't matter how much you put into the property, you're not going to be able to get better than the next person has. And so I felt that I still wanted and needed all control. And those two types of business models, between wholesaling and fixing and flipping, at some point you lose control in the process.
So true, TJ. And again, with the multifamily, of course, you just talked about economies of scale, also increasing the rents by having extra things. Of course, the RUB system, the utilities bill back system, laundry machines, vending machines, more amenities giving to the residents. Valet trash is another one we are putting at our properties.
Valet trash?
Valet trash, yeah. So that the residents don't have to walk and take their trash to the dumpster. I know, you're in. I mean, this is becoming so good, and also making the home more tech savvy with the Nest, temperature control things which are internet friendly, the USB, switches, a lot of different things are making the residents who are more up and up, and millennials and all, they like those things. And then also by managing the asset, right, TJ, we could cut down the expenses. That's the other part. So increasing the income or the loss of lease, if there is some, like the properties we are buying, B class right now, that's where we are really impacting that the NOI can be increased appreciably because of the loss of lease. Also, some of the property management, people, they like to have higher occupancy, let's say 97, 98%, but they miss that increase in rent factor. So much things are happening that way, right?
Absolutely.
But exciting part is I would really like to chat a little bit more. I know you have a big following, and I hope that all of your followers are able to listen to this podcast or watch it. It's going to be live also on YouTube, and I hope they'll be able to make their decision to take a journey with you, because you'll be the Messiah, to bring them to this new world of multifamily. And I think that will help thousands and millions of people, around the world, because we are really helping so many people in the process. We are helping the investors through syndication, pooling the money together legally to do bigger projects. We are helping our team members because they are managing bigger assets and more people are employed. We are helping more vendors, their families, their everything. And then, of course, we are helping our partners and everybody. So it's a very win-win-win-win situation, I call it,
Totally. So I totally agree with you. I think, the great thing about this vehicle is we have many different avenues where we have such a positive effect on people, right? And I believe that's why the government rewards commercial investors, period, on just so many angles to keep more money in their pocket too as well. So the government likes when you're actually providing nice, clean, affordable housing. But to get back to the Mr. Flipperhouse brand, that was just kind of started, and it started organically. I actually picked up a mentor, an internet mentor at the time, who was very big on the internet, and he's still a really good friend of mine today. His name is Chris Bruce, and we got into some strategies of how we could now start to take what I was doing in the wholesaling process and gaining a lot of success, and now start putting that out there to the world to affect change in a lot of people and to give hope to a lot of people. So I actually got into doing some mentoring and coaching with students all across the country, and we ended up building that brand up to now we have organically over the years just a little over 18,000 subscribers.
Love it.
And it's crazy because we continually have subscribers that are subscribing every day. Although I haven't been active in the wholesaling world for quite some time. And it's very inspirational too as well, because I'm always getting emails on an everyday basis of individuals that have reached out to me, inquiring about wholesaling real estate, or just leaving me testimonials about education that I've been able to give or that they've gotten over the years, just specifically off of YouTube, that has allowed them to now go out and close many of deals. And now a lot of these students are making six figures, and being able to, change their financial future as well as their families' lives. And so it's kind of great that we had the opportunity to hook up, Vinney, because when I told you, that I had this, huge following on YouTube, and that, I was no longer passionate about talking about wholesaling anymore, because I've seen a lot of the pitfalls, right? Like I said, blind fool's money. And I don't get caught up and stay complacent and content in that one arena. And so I knew that there was something better out there. Ultimately, it led me to commercial multifamily, but there were some growth stages there, right?
Yes.
And so trying to figure out how could we now take my experiences from wholesaling to fixing and flipping now on to commercial multifamily to get back to this community of a loyal following that has essentially put their trust and faith in me, and now just going to share my honest experiences with them and let them know some of the pitfalls that they come across, in the wholesaling business. Okay. Also, what I do know for a fact too is most wholesalers do not take into consideration that there are taxes that need to be paid.
Yes, the IRS is coming no matter what, I promise you.
So a lot of these guys are just really not taking into account
Less newbies, for sure.
Right, breaking down how much am I actually netting here? So we get blinded by the couple of zeros that we see on the check, and like, this is great. But once you break everything down, you know what? It's not so great. I'm back down to zero again, and I just have money just to pay my bills. So essentially, you're in the rat race of real estate investing, right?
Yeah, you need to get into that. And TJ, actually, I have a question. So you have a great following that hopefully will be watching this. What would be because you made the jump from wholesaling to multifamily. So what would be, tell me maybe the top 2 or 3 reasons why you made the jump, besides what we had already discussed. And
how would they move on? I think the other thing I'm also thinking, Alicia, is like mindset, right? I always believe it all starts with the mindset. TJ, so somebody, let's say I'm a wholesaler, let's just assume, or a flipper.
I used to be, so.
What should I do? What 1 or 2 things that you did initially to change your mindset, which you have given very good reasons already. But I think, for us to move the needle, so as to speak, what do you think could be easy for them to do. We don't want them to change overnight, for sure, right?
Correct. Absolutely. I think the very first thing that one should do is, solidify a foundation. And your foundation is going to be through your education.
Yeah.
And so, in any real estate niche, it has its own specialized education. Whether you're doing wholesaling, whether you're doing fixing and flipping, whether you're doing value add multifamily, you have to get a broad perspective of knowledge that you can now be confident enough start to implement. And create some action steps.
Sure.
I think for the biggest part mentally is, when people think about commercial multifamily, they see it as this big, huge, operation or just a beast.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money. Right?
Yeah.
And so, you got to understand a lot of the skills that you already have or required in the wholesaling, you can actually use some of those skills with commercial multifamily. Because in a sense, in wholesaling, all you're doing is assigning a contract, which still puts you in a position to do what? Go out and find the money. Right. So you still have to go out and find partners, right, to help you take down this property so you can get your assignment fee. Well, in commercial multifamily, there's really nothing different, right? You are going out to find a deal, right? A good enough deal that can pencil in. But you actually have to now go and align yourself with the money or partners to help you facilitate to take down the deal. And so don't get into your mind that, you personally have to have a lot of money, right? But all you have to have is the hustle, the same hustle that you have in wholesaling. You have to have the determination, the same determination that you need in wholesaling. You have to have the grit, the same grit that you need in wholesaling. All that can be transferred into commercial multifamily. I just think that a lot of people are walking around with a lot of myths in their head, and they produce a lot of limited thoughts, which are going to keep them in the same position. And so what you got to understand is, you may not have all the resources that you need, but guess what? What you don't have, somebody else does.
Totally. Yeah.
Right? And so what skill sets, what value have you acquired over the years that you can bring to the table right now to potentially partner with another syndicator who has been doing this for
Surely.
Right? And you guys can leverage each other's resources, form this team, form this partnership, and co-syndicate deals together with what skills and value that you can bring to them. So,
Amen. That's so true. So true. I was going to say, totally in the same token, I do want to bring all the audience back to, I'm putting together like how I bought my first apartment. I mean, kind of going back to basics, and that's going to be huge. I hope anybody listening or watching us, please look at, wholesaling is one house, flipping is one house, but let's go to buy a duplex, a fourplex, a sixplex, or an eightplex. It's not going to be that daunting, Of course, if you can pull the money with your friend circle, and a lot of money is flowing all around us, and they will be able to come as joint partner and things like that. There are different avenues, like you said, TJ. But the thing is to move the needle. I call it move that needle. I hope after this conversation or watching it again, and what great ideas, TJ, you shared in this whole podcast or interview, I think it can make a mind shift. That, hey, instead of single family home, I'm going to go out and look for a duplex or a fourplex, and instead of flipping it, maybe even, do a good rehab and then just lease it out, all 4 residents, and keep it. And then the value is going to increase, refinance it, and then buy my second one and third one. Elijah, Corey fan, good friend of mine, and my good student, right here from Sacramento, he did that very successfully. And, he's even doing Airbnb on 1 or 2 units of the fourplex. So that way he's increasing the rental 3 times. Like, he's making like $2,700 from this one unit of the fourplex as compared to $795 from the other unit. So there are different ways, to augment that income. So I think we will be really, I don't know how long it is, but let's see if we can, Alicia, I'll give it back to you. Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, I think I love the difference between you've got a veteran. Well, both of you guys are veterans, but you've got Vinney, who's been in the business for more than a minute. But TJ, I love what you bring to the table because you have a little bit. Vinney's been on the multifamily side for a little longer than you have, but you're more fresh coming out of the wholesaling. So the things that you're bringing to the table and your ideas of why you've made the change are
very compelling, very, very compelling, like there. So again, I think wrap up to say, I know, Alicia, you froze a little bit.
Oh, sorry. I keep freezing. My computer keeps freezing. You guys are seeing it too?
Hey, life is to make the lemonade out of lemon.
So you guys are seeing that too? Okay, I thought it was just on my side.
Fun, the excitement, that's all it counts, So maybe,
sorry.
We could ask TJ for the last few comments if...
Please, and then I will wrap up. I'll wrap up with the close. Sorry about that. I didn't know it was just...
No problem. Okay.
Yeah, TJ, do you have any following thoughts that you could leave us and the wholesalers and the people that are in your group that would, that they would want to know about jumping into the multifamily?
Yes, absolutely. And I would, credit... a lot of my success to, as Vinney mentioned, and he's a big proponent of it, is developing the right type of mindset.
Yeah.
Your mindset is going to allow you to go from point A to point B. Mm-hmm. But what you got to understand there's a process from point A to point B.
Yes.
So we have this gap there that we're seeing, right? And in this gap, you're going to have some peaks and you're going to have some valleys along the way getting to point B.
Yeah.
So what's going to allow you to continue to push forward towards your goal, towards your desires, right? It's going to be the thoughts that you're producing in your head along the way. The going out finding deals, the going out building relationships, that's the physical piece. It doesn't really take a rocket scientist to do that. I mean, that's literally maybe only 5-10% probably being generous of the business, but 90% of it is all mental.
Totally.
It's all mental. And so I know that it's maybe tough for a beginner to understand, the mental process of what you would have to, attain in order to get yourself from point A to point B. But I would highly suggest start reading, books that help develop the mindset.
Sure.
Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
You have, The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Waddles. You have The Magic of Thinking Big.
Yes. That's how we're all about the books. I love it.
Exactly.
And so
Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, all the greats.
You can go on, right? And Vinney, you can, teach 101 million ways to make money in real estate, but it's really not going to make that world of a difference to that individual if their mind is not prepared to take on what they are going to potentially encounter along the way. Because as we know, it's not going to be a smooth ride all the way through, right? It's
so true.
Some bumps and some bruises there along the way. And so your mindset is ultimately going to be the determining factor, whether you're going to be accomplished the things that you set out to achieve.
So true. Wow, what a great. I want to thank so much TJ for coming on the show. And, it's
for having me. This is an honor. I appreciate it.
I really, and I'm looking forward to coming out there in a month or 2 months, and hopefully we'll be able to crush it together. And I know
our meetup group to come speak.
Totally, it'll be my pleasure. And thank you so much, Alicia. Maybe the last.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. I normally have to do all the talking. I love it. This time I didn't have to do any talking.
I appreciate you guys having me on. You guys take care.
Thank you.
All right, guys, you just got your weekly syndication golden nuggets from Mr. Smiles, also known as Vinney Chopra. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Tune in each week and get your syndication investing nuggets and manage your business to the next level. Have a terrific weekend. As Mr. Smiles says, make it happen each day.
And be sure to buy my book.
Yes. I will be a promoter. Check it out. Definitely go on Amazon. Check out his #1 international best-selling book. I was talking about the podcast. My journey from $7 to $250 million, which is kind of a lie because it's worth over $300 now. But apartment syndication made easy. Definitely go check it out, guys. I seriously had no idea much about the multifamily world. And to be honest, I even after I ran the campaign, I didn't. But after I started looking at different parts of it, it was such an easy read. And it was, I mean, after I could go out and do this business right now with my eyes closed reading this book. And I'm not even saying this because I'm a business partner with him. I'm not that type of person. If you know anything about me, you'll know I'm honest. But Vinney is the man to definitely go check out. Go check him out on his website. You got VinneyChopra.com. There you can learn from him through his academy. You can apply at least for his mentorship. You can partner with him or you can invest with him. Be sure to tune in with us each week. TJ, thank you again for joining us. TJ. I will have TJ's information also here in the show notes.
Yes.
I appreciate it, TJ. Hopefully we can have you again here soon. I would like to hear about some of the progression of your, I know you're closing your first deal right now.
Yeah.
So I would like to hear once you're closed and done and dusted, I would like to get the details on how that how we're converted.
That'll be awesome. Thank you, DJ. Thank you so much. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Be sure to listen to Mr. Smiles next week with more golden nuggets and top-notch coaching tips. You can reach him by going to VinneyChopra.com or texting the word syndication to 474747. Be sure to like, comment, and share to show everyone how Mr. Smiles has brought your apartment syndication business to the next level.